think you should.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Whoscussion. We're on part B. We'll be covering the 8th Doctor story, The Silver Turk, and following it up with the 5th Doctor story, The King of the Dead. The Silver Turk. Harriet Skelly, take us away.
All right, so this is a really good audio story. It seems fairly long. It's not really that long in real terms, but it feels like there's a lot of substance to it. I guess that's probably why it feels like it's so long. A lot of things go on in this, and it's real. What's the word I'm looking for here? It feels like a Cyberman story, properly, which is good because it is. But it's,
yes,
it feels like an old timey Cyberman story. It's clearly the older Cybermen, the Mondasian.
Yeah, the Mondasian Cybermen.
They do actually talk about going home to Mondas, so that sort of stuff. It is real curious of a story though, with the puppet people, and it feels real Gothic horror.
Yeah, it's so Gothic horror.
And as much as I'm like, that's great, I'm also like, it's got Mary Shelley in it, guys.
It's too on the nose, hey?
Like, I understand, but at the same time, I'm like, please, you didn't have to do that. Like, it didn't have to be a Gothic. It didn't have to be Gothic horror just because it's got Mary Shelley in it. Didn't need to do that. But at the same time, I'm like, thank you, thank you for doing this. With just the zombie people that are just because they seem like zombies because they're puppets, the stealing of eyes, this weird and I guess this is something I really want to bring up actually, the fact that the guy, what's his name?
Which one, the really really evil guy or the less evil guy?
Stahlbaum, Alfred Stahlbaum, I think it is.
The young fella who's trying to run away with the wife.
Yeah, the one who has the Silver Turk in the first place. He's got the Silver Turk, which is actually it's a Cyberman in a Turkish outfit. That is basically one of those gimmicky machines at carnivals that can play chess or play a game of some sort. That generally, when you're at a carnival, you probably know that it's actually just a person controlling a machine.
But they certainly didn't back then.
Yeah. So yeah, this is it's interesting because that 11th Doctor story that has the Cybermen in it, on a carnival world, where there is a Cyberman, an actual Cyberman that's been hollowed out and is being played by the king.
Yeah. Oh wow,
so
that's a good point. Yes.
I'm kind of wondering where they got the ideas for that from this, but at the same time, the whole idea of having a robot playing chess or playing checkers, playing a game and doing that sort of thing is a real carnival thing already. So you could also just assume that they just got it from the same source material. But at the same time, it's like, this seems a little peculiar for those things to be so similar. But at the same time, it has very different themes and endings to it. So I guess it's kind of okay. It's still very interesting though, that those are quite similar. And I like the idea of a Cyberman ending up as a carnival trick.
Yeah,
I like that idea, especially considering the way that we did that with those sort of machines, that we turned them into a chess player or something. It would be hilarious to see that the Doctor just ends up turning a Cyberman into that, just like revenge for something. That would be great.
Rebuilds handles. You're now a chess player.
But yeah, it's real. It's real Gothic horror with the fact that the Cybermen are so damaged that they like lost their voice. One of them's like stolen the other one's arm and put it on itself, so it's got an extra arm now.
Yeah.
And then later on has a fourth arm as well because it stole the rest of him. It's so good, and like them going to a cathedral and then crawling up to the top of it and getting struck by lightning to rejuvenate themselves. It's like no one could write this. Like not even Mary Shelley herself could write this like this. But it seems like it's so her.
It's so Gothic, man. It's crazy.
It's great. Like just you could take the Doctor out of this and replace Mary Shelley and the Doctor with just like with just another science man and lady in distress who's not really distressed at all, actually kind of smart, and then you've got yourself a perfect horror novel. You don't have to have the Cybermen be Cybermen, just alien robots of some kind.
Yeah.
And then bam, you've absolutely got it. Just there you go, Gothic horror, easy done. Like that's what the story is. It's perfect. It's so good.
It really is that perfect. I love the villainry of the main villain fella who turns out to just be a creation of the Cybermen.
Well, no, he's not a creation of the Cybermen. He's the one that he changed first.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that he turned himself into a puppet. That is so proper Gothic horror. That kind of villainy. That he was so normally in Doctor Who, the bad guy that is trying to change the world, that sort of stuff. They never do it on themselves first. It's never like that. They always they're either gonna put themselves last or something real like Messiah type, where they say they're gonna change the world but actually just kill everyone else except themselves, sort of deal.
Yeah, but with the guy that made the alternate universe Cybermen.
Yeah,
he's very much like that. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Exactly like that. So it's real interesting that he changed himself first. That he believed it so readily that he actually went and did it. So he's like proper crazy evil, proper chaotic evil. It's so good. Really, just listen to it. And I'm really sad that there's no visual representation.
I would so love this to get a proper do you know Shinichiro Watanabe? He directed Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
I want him to do it. I want him to do the animation for this so bad, because he is so good at stylizing and using the visual medium to tell a story as opposed to the spoken dialogue, and him being able to marry the dialogue of this to his design. I would watch that probably every week.
Yeah, it would be great. This having. Especially these particular audio stories with Mary Shelley in them, because they're not they don't have the narration effect to them, and it's all those comes across the same with Charlie and that sort of stuff. Is that it's all because of the way that they tell the audio story. You don't generally have to get things told to you. You can it's sort of a broad spectrum on show don't tell, where you actually have you only have characters speaking. You don't ever see anything, and generally the only description you get from stuff is them giving a vague description in their own words. So as much as you can kind of imagine the one of the Cybermen having 3 arms and then 4, you don't really see it as well as you should. And I'm really kind of sad about that. That if we'd had an animation to go along with it, or a picture, someone had drawn up just panels, sort of deal.
Oh yes.
Just some still shots of basically what's happening.
Yeah, they do that for the Charlie run. They do comic book strips for Charlie's run. So I wonder.
Yeah, they do for Charlie. Yeah, so I think that would be really great if someone could do something like that, at least. Having it animated and looking amazing is just something of my dreams, but Otherwise, it would be fantastic just to see a visual representation of what's going on there would be fantastic, especially if they could do a Gothic stylized one. Like,
oh yes, I want it. I want it right now. Like, make it look like Arkham by Gaslight. I don't know if you've ever read Arkham by Gaslight, but holy crap, if we could have an Arkham by Gaslight looking animation of the Silver Turk, that's the stuff of dreams, man. Like, I just want to be, I wish I could be Willy Wonka so I could just make it happen. But we are the dreamers of dreams, man. Like, just wow. Yep. The Silver Turk, something I really like about this is Big Finish has done this a lot, and they've been doing it in and out of the productions. They did it a little bit in the comics as well, where the Doctor keeps talking about his companions Gemma and Samson. Yep. And he keeps not going back to see them.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
Right at the beginning of this, he's like, the reason that I picked up my own distress signal is because I was in Vienna, and the same day my future self crash lands. That's why I picked it up. So he's like, let's go back to where I was. And he was only meant to travel in space, but he travels in time as well. And he's like, I wonder where Gemma and Samson are. He's getting really angry about it as well. And she's like, well, they probably won't turn up because we're 50 years in the future. Yeah. And he's like, oh, that's probably why they're not here. I just want them to animate the single frame of Mary Shelley like looking at him like, are you serious? like
what?
Like, you're 50 years too late. Like, what?
Yeah, that is just Mary Shelley's just a whole involvement in this is fantastic.
I love when she can't comprehend the time travel, so she just chooses not to.
Yeah, she's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I love that because she's like, and she like picks up that mirror and she's like, I don't look 50 years older, so I can't be. And it's really sad because she only lives to be 36. So it's like, just like there's so much in like Mary Shelley is given so much like character in this that like I want her to be around more than she is. And I'm so angry that I've never listened to Mary Shelley before. I only found out about her this year, so I'm just like, wow, I want more Mary Shelley. Big Finish, make it happen. I know you're doing the Dark Eyes and the Time War right now, but make it happen, all right? Just wow. And something that I'll go back to what I was saying is I love the fact that we don't know who Gemma and Samson are.
Yeah, we've never met them.
We've never met them, but the Doctor keeps going on about how he's supposed to be traveling with them at the moment. But he leaves for like years and then comes back and then leaves again. Like, what is, like, what? And like, as people who have followed us for a while will know, we use a particular timeline website for the 8th Doctor. And even he's like, I don't know where he meets Gemma and Samson. Like, where does he meet them?
I guess just like after Izzy, like
maybe it's really interesting, but
like that must be it. It's like meets them after Izzy, and then does all these like this weird adventure thing with them, in between him hanging out with Mary.
Yeah, and then he goes and hangs out with Mary, and then apparently he goes and hangs out with Charlie straight afterwards, and then goes back to see Gemma and says,
"What really?"
Like,
After the greatest and everything.
After years of being away, he's like, "Hey guys, I know I've been away for a bit." So I'm looking forward to when we get up. He went
into the anti-time universe thinking he was never going to come back, but he had just left Gemma and stuff just there.
And they're from like the 80s as well, so they're like stuck in the 19th century. Like, how do we get home? And the Doctor's like, I'm gonna go fight Zagreus. Bye. Like,
he could have never come back, and they would have been stuck there forever.
Could you imagine being from the future and stuck in the past? Like, this sucks. Like,
well, I mean, as soon as you realize that you're stuck in the past, you'd probably, change some events. But still, like, if you're expecting the Doctor to come back anytime and he just never shows up, you'd get old and die and be like,
hang out in the cafe for a couple of days. Like, he'll be back. He'll come right back. Like, but apparently there's after Mary leaves, there's a couple of short novels that are between this. That I think you and I might have the time to read. They're only 15 pages each, so we should be able to do it. But yeah, those are the only adventures he has with Gemma and Samson as of right now, because they're just like random companions. Big Finish has as a running joke, by the way, that the Doctor keeps leaving them in the same day in Vienna. It's a running Big Finish joke, and other material, so authors who know about the joke have written short novels about Timur and Samson in short anthologies, just as a running joke from Big Finish, that the Eighth Doctor has these companions he keeps forgetting about.
That's so great.
It's so,
I'm
and
so
because like
happy
he's so
about it.
forgetful, it's like it makes sense for his character, because he's out of all the Doctors, he forgets things the most. He's so bad at remembering stuff, which is funny because he fights 2 Time Wars. So
He does, so that's probably why.
yeah, that's
Well,
probably why.
he kind of does and doesn't. But anyway,
But yes, this is great. I'm really looking forward to the next 2 stories.
honestly though, that would have been. This honestly would have been the better way to leave Amy and Rory. Honestly, is just leaving them in a time place, and then just being like, "Oh, yeah, I'll be back," and then just forgetting about them.
Yeah,
because that's also something that Matt Smith's one would have done as well.
Yeah, he so would have done that. Just like, bye, like, because he leaves them in an apartment and gives Rory that new car. So if that had been like the last scene, that would have been pretty great. Where the Doctor's like, bye guys, and it just leaves.
It's like, I'll be back. Like those times where he like just left for hundreds of years, you know, and like be like, "Oh, how old are you now, Doctor?" And he's like, "Oh, you know, just a few 100,000 years old." Yeah. And they're like, "Weren't you like this old the last time we met?" Maybe, I don't know.
I'm old, all good. But it's I love that, like, Gemma and Samson are this running joke. Like, that's so perfect, because like Big Finish are doing it for the lols, but if you look at it in like with the serious goggles on, he's putting them in a situation that is so dangerous. Yeah. Because they're a time-space anomaly.
Yeah.
Like,
that's great.
Just wow.
It's particularly funny because like if what absolutely should be done, what I think would be the greatest thing ever, is to have one of the other, like a future Doctor, go and pick them up eventually.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I'm on their wiki page right now, and it's not until the 12th Doctor picks them up in a comic that they actually.
Oh my god, the 12th! Yes, that's it.
That's so good.
It. That's perfect. That he
the 12th Doctor's like, "Hey guys, sorry about forgetting you," and they're like, "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm the Doctor." Oh,
like,
okay.
Well, you got really old.
Yeah, it's a comic called The Big Bang Generation, and the 12th Doctor goes and picks them up and takes them home.
Oh my god, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's
what the hell? That's I'm gonna send this to you. This is so great.
That is beautiful.
That's perfect.
Good job.
Oh,
good
wow.
Good job. Thank you.
That is the longest running joke. Like, that's 4, like, oh well, technically 5 incarnations later. That's great.
Finally picks them.
He's like, "Oh, I better go pick them up." Like, hey, wasn't I? Oh crap, guys, just for the Time Warp, nothing to worry about. That's perfect. I still can't get over it.
So good.
That's the best. I can't wait for us to hear. I mean, not hear more about Gemma and Samson. That's because, like, apparently the Doctor turns up in their library one day, goes, "Do you want to time travel?" And then he takes them to Vienna and leaves. That's actually what happens in their timeline. Like, hey, yeah, I am a time traveler. Oh, cool. Let's go. Bye. That's so great.
I'm just gonna go hang out for a bit and be back.
It's...
I'm back, guys. What?
Who are you? Oh, I'm the Doctor.
Good.
This is perfect. I can't wait.
Why do you look so different?
Oh, okay.
I got older.
So we do have an audio adventure with them, apparently. Looking here, I don't want to read into this because it might spoil something for us, but we do have an audio adventure with them, and it is with 8. So.
Okay, that's good.
So that's good.
But still, wow.
Hey, I'm gonna go fix you guys' timeline in 4 incarnations. Bye. So here we are. So
when they finally get back to the future. They finally get back to the future, and it's nothing like they left it, because he's just been messing with their timeline the whole time.
They'll be like,
yes.
They'll be like, the what invaded? The Daleks invaded, and then I removed that from history.
Oh, but then it didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
Perfect. But yes, that's the Silver Turk. I'm looking forward to hearing more about this long-running joke of Gemma and Samson, because it is so beautiful. Like, I love when Doctor Who can do stuff like this. Like, just like random throwaway lines that you're like, hang on, can we hear more about that? And then when you do hear more about it, you're like, whoa, that opens a whole kettle of fish. I really wish the reason the 10th Doctor was hated by Queen Elizabeth wasn't the whole marriage thing, though, because that was one of my favorite things. Was when, like, I really didn't like the Shakespeare Code, but the ending I was really intrigued by, and then the End of Time Part 1 ruined it. But anyway,
that doesn't make sense.
this is true.
Like, surely she wouldn't hate him. She would just be like, "Hey, you,
Yeah.
what's this?"
Anyway, what's this about? Remember that time I killed my sister? You want to join her? No, not really. So we now jump onto the King of the Dead. It's the 5th Doctor
finally.
short trip. Finally. Sorry, just Mary Shelley and the 8th Doctor. Just like, there's so much. It's just great because he looks like Lord Byron. But anyway, 5th Doctor.
Yep.
Okay, 3 incarnations ago.
Mm-hmm.
He lands in London in the 80s. They land on stage during a play called The King of the Dead. Tegan somehow knows everything about this play.
Hey, she's Trivia Master Tegan,
Yeah.
alright?
Yeah, she's
That's just how
Trivia Master.
Bigfoot. That's just why. How does Big Finish do this every time?
They're so good. I love how
Just-
they make sure to keep it consistent as well. Like,
Just now, but for some reason, it's just with Big Finish.
Yeah.
She's suddenly Trivia Master about everything that England had to offer. Like, what? She's Australian. Why would she know anything about England?
well, she did work in Heathrow for a day. Heathrow, I'm Australian. But Sarah Sutton is the voice actress that narrates this one. Because it's a short trip, it's done by one single narrator. And Sarah Sutton's Tegan impersonation is so perfect. Like,
Actually,
she sounds exactly like Janet Fielding. It's crazy how much she sounds like her. And she wasn't just doing the accent; she was actually sounded like Janet Fielding. It was almost uncomfortable, like that she sounded like another human being. Like, I love impersonations. It's like a thing of mine to look up impersonators, but it was just, I don't know, this one was too uncanny. Like, it was like she had robotically imitated her. It was that uncanny. But anyway, the 5th Doctor kind of really doesn't know what's going on, and Tegan and Nyssa take the reins. Basically, they are the focus of the story. They, especially Nyssa, she's very much more of a focus of the story. They are shown around by this fellow called what was his persona? Because his real name was Patrick, but what was his persona? John, was it? I can't remember now. It was some random persona. But anyway, it turned
Jason.
Oh,
It was Jason.
Jason, yeah. So, and Jason was using an artifact from the Black Archives.
Yes.
The unit Black Archives. That
Hell yeah.
hell yeah, that controlled this alien race.
Not controlled, just allowed them out into a universe.
Oh right. Okay, so it was this. I don't know. Like, the story's just so weird. It's weird.
It was kind of weird, yeah.
It's like, because like the show keeps just going, and
Yeah.
I don't know. This is really confusing, but like, I enjoyed it. I don't know. It's I think it's because Sarah Sutton was talking, and I really like Nyssa, but I love Tegan as well. So, but I don't know. It's bizarre. I quite like the monster. They briefly describe it, and the 5th Doctor's like, "Don't say any loud noises, or we'll die."
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. The 5th Doctor's really on the back burner here, but the Patrick, who's technically the villain, hates the Doctor and is the reason he's materialized there. He's used this crown to bring the Doctor here because he hates him because his father died during the 3rd Doctor's run as the scientific advisor
And unit.
in unit. So the Patrick's real peeved, But he's sort of got this whole split reality going on, where he's like these two different people. It's not really like a split personality. It's more like there's two beings that encompass one body. That's how I felt. Anyway, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, that is exactly how it is. Because it gets explained later on that effectively what's happened is he's sort of had, when his dad got killed by these things, they actually like absorbed his dad's mental abilities. They absorbed his mind into their collection, which made him evil. But of course, at the same time, because of their slight telepathy, they were able to basically use the dad's mind to get into his mind, with the same malice and terribleness, which is what turned him into this bad guy.
Yeah, because that's right. Because he turns into basically a soldier when he's possessed.
Yeah,
and it's like and it's like an echo of his father's personality. It's interesting. I like that, like, it's the Fifth Doctor tackling something 3 set up.
Yeah,
I thought
that was interesting too.
It was quite interesting, but this is a story basically written for Nyssa to talk about how much she hated the Master and that she got over her hatred of him. That's definitely she really hates the Master, and when we get up to it in Whoscussion Part A in the future, you guys will know why she hates the Master.
No, she's got a good reason for it.
She's got a pretty good reason to hate the Master. So she talks about how she basically came to terms with her vengeance, basically the malice inside herself, and it's a really good character piece. I feel like it should have been in the Companion Chronicles range though, more than the Doctor Short Trips. I think it would have worked better as a Companion Chronicle. Because like the Doctor's very kind of not in this. Though in saying that, the 7th Doctor one about the Shadow Stealer. Yeah. That could have been more of a Companion Chronicle. So I don't know.
Well, the thing is that there's very occasionally these short trips are very Doctor light. But of course it wasn't so much about, not necessarily about Nyssa herself. It was about obviously this well, really, it was more about the guy and his feelings for it. But of course, Nyssa's abilities, Nyssa's requirement in the story was the fact that she was able to talk him out of being a giant douche, really.
Yeah, he was not being a great dude.
Yeah, simply by explaining that that her own experiences with that, which makes sense, really, is that's the whole point is having the companions around, so they can relate better to anybody that the Doctor meets, considering the Doctor can barely relate to anybody ever. So
I'm a time traveling alien.
Even other Time Lords he doesn't relate to at all. So
I love when he tries to get along with his friend from school, that cameraman, the journalist.
Yes.
He's like, hey man, the journalist is like, I really don't want to talk to you. Please get away from me. He's like, oh okay, I'll be right over here, man. Like, the Doctor is so awkward as like a person, but he's trying to do the right thing.
That's great.
But yeah, this is good. I don't know if it's my favorite 5th Doctor one, but it wasn't bad.
Certainly not.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever think I'll go back and listen to this one. Whereas like the Lions of Trafalgar, I went back and listened to chiefly because I was like, what happened? But it is definitely something that I can't really say I could recommend it. But I mean, like, if you're interested in kind of the ideas that this tackles and you like what you see on the Wikipedia page, I say pick it up. I mean, it's less than $1. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is that like really when it comes right down to it, is that all of the stories, the short strips, are by themselves just they're good. And they're nice little bite-sized pieces of Doctor Who. So if you don't really have time to listen to watch or do any of the stuff that we normally do within the week without Whoscussion, probably the short trips is probably the best thing for you, because they give you a bite-sized piece of it. Just audio stories are a good thing to go through, especially if you don't have viewing time. Like if you're on a bus or you're on a train or something like that, you take a trip into work, you need something to do during that time. There's a perfect time for it. If you don't have a Kindle, or even if you do have a Kindle with one of the ebook, the reading versions, Why not?
Exactly. And now that, and because Big Finish is an app, you can listen to this. You can find out which ones you've already listened to. You can buy them through the app as well. Again, these are completely inexpensive. In my honest opinion, though, 1, 2, and 7, those doctors, they get the best short trips. That's just how I feel about it. I felt that they've had the best short trips out of the series. But I mean, they're all good. And again, this is all subjective. So if you guys are like, hey, I love the Third Doctor ones, go with that. Especially with the one about the fixing the bike puncture. Like,
Yes,
that one's great.
That's great.
Especially when that lizard man turns up and starts crying, and that kid's like, I literally don't know what to do in this situation.
That was actually hilarious.
That's so perfect. Because he's just sitting there like, this is so awkward. I'm just going to go make some tea. And it's just so great. So this one, again, is inexpensive. Maybe you guys might have a different experience. If you pick it up and you're like, hey, I actually think this is the best of this whole volume, then pop it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But
Absolutely.
With that is us for this week. Unlike Gemma and Samson, we will be back next week. And we'll see you all there.
All right. Catch you on the flip side.